Hello, I am Christian Shroll. For those that may not know me, I'm the director at the Bracken County Public Library, and I, like you all, I wish we could have the building open right now, but according to the directives from federal and state government, we just can't be done for now, but we are hoping to see those restrictions lifted soon, but only when it is healthy to do so. We join Tina and all the others in trying to prevent this virus from spreading, prevent the loss of life that is coming with this disease. So, but to go on a brighter note, change the subject a little bit. We can't have the building open, but we can bring the library to you in other ways. If you look on our Facebook, my staff has been working various means to provide crafts, provide books for connections for you through the ebook and other digital resources that we have. And I hope that you are making good use of that. The state library provides some good resources through the Kentucky Virtual Library, and then we at the library have purchased a lot of resources on our own through Overdrive, through Hoopla, and Tumble Books. There's just so many resources for all ages available. One such book that you can find on there, give you a series to read, and I know I have a few staff that have or still read to their kids, and it's and read with their kids. That's a great thing. But this book by Susan Cooper, Oversea Under Stone, is the first book of the Dark is Rising series. There was a media company that did a movie a few years ago, and I thought, well, let me check it out. Let me see what it's like. And started into the series, and before long, I was completed with all 5 books. So the back of the cover launches, it says, on a holiday in Cornwall, the 3 Drew children discover an ancient map in the attic of the house they're staying in. They know immediately that it is special. It is even more than that. It is the key to finding a grail, a source of power to fight the forces of evil known as the dark. And in searching for it themselves, the Drews put their very lives in peril. Now let me read just a little bit here in the opening. Where is he? Barney hopped from one foot to the other as he clambered down from the train, peering in vain through the white-faced crowds flooding eagerly to St. Austell ticket barrier. Oh, I can't see him. Is he here? Of course he's there, Simon said, struggling to clutch the long canvas bundle of his father's fishing rods. He said he'd meet us, even with the car. Behind them, the big diesel locomotive hooted like a giant owl, and the train began to move out. Stay where you are a minute, Father said. Mary won't vanish. Let people get clear. Jane sniffed ecstatically. I can smell the sea. We're miles from the sea, Simon said loftily. I don't care. I can still smell it. Trewesick is 5 miles from St. Austell. Great Uncle Mary told us that. Oh, where is he? Barney still jiggled impatiently on the dusty gray platform, glaring at the disappearing backs that masked his view. Then suddenly he stood still, gazing downwards. Hey, Look. They looked. He was staring at a large black suitcase among the forest of shuffling legs. What's so marvelous about that? Jane said. Then they saw that the suitcase had two brown pricked ears and a long wavy brown tail. Its owner picked it up and moved away, and the dog, which had been behind it, was left standing there alone, looking up and down the platform. He was a long, rangy, lean dog, and where the sunlight shafted down on his coat, it gleamed dark red. Barney whistled and held out his hand. Darling, no, said his mother plaintively, clutching at the bunch of paintbrushes that sprouted from her pocket like a tuft of celery. But even before Barney whistled, the dog had begun trotting in their direction, swift and determined, as if he were recognizing old friends. He lopped around them in a circle, raising his long red muzzle to each in turn. Then he stopped beside Jane, licked her hand. Isn't he gorgeous? As Jane said as she crouched beside him and ruffled the long silky fur of his neck. Darling, be careful, Mother said. He'll get left behind. He must belong to someone over there. Oh, I wish he belonged to us. So does he? Barney said. Look. He scratched the red head, and the dog gave a throaty half bark of pleasure. No, Father said. The crowds were thinning now, and through the barrier they could see the blue clear sky out over the station yard. His name's on his collar, Jane said, still down beside the dog's neck. She fumbled with the silver tab on the heavy strap. It says Rufus and something else. Trewesick. He comes from the village. But as she looked up, suddenly the others were not there. She jumped to her feet and ran after them into the sunshine, seeing in an instant what they had seen. The towering, familiar figure of great Uncle Mary, out in the yard, waiting for them. They clustered around him, chattering like squirrels around the base of a tree. Ah, there you are, he said, looking down at them from beneath his bristling white eyebrows with a slight smile. Cornwall's wonderful, Barney said, bubbling. You haven't seen it yet, said great Uncle Mary. How are you, Ellen, my dear? He bent down and aimed a brief peck at Mother's cheek. He treated her always as though he had never forgotten, or he had forgotten that she had grown up. Although he was not her real uncle, but only a friend of her father, he had been close to the family for so many years that it never occurred to them to wonder where he had come from in the first place. So that's just the first 2 pages of the story. And it gets much better from there. Uncle Mary and the nice Scottish accent, or Irish, or whatever you want to make it out to be. But it's a fun story, and I know you will enjoy it.